Great. It's Stefan Pape from Hey You Guys. Nice to meet you, Michael. How you doing?
Nice to meet you, Stefan. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Really enjoying the show. I'm going to start with a bit of an obvious question, really, but I just wanted to know for fans of season one and even the kind of newcomers into this kind of franchise, if we can call it that, what can audiences expect of season two?
I think that you can expect, a big comedy, big action. I think you can expect, a love story as two people, high stakes as, Anthony Mackie and Stephanie Beatriz enter a tournament and face off against, 16 people all trying to kill him. And we really tried to take everything we loved about season one, great characters, great stories, and we just tried to give you more of it.
Because this show has, I'm sold, by the way. This show has, this show has such an infectious sense of very playful chaos to it. Does that feeling extend to the kind of set and to the shoot? Does this show kind of allow the actors the ability to kind of go off script a bit and to be quite playful with their characters? And just as a kind of side question to that, is it important for you as a writer to not be too precious over your original script in that regard?
Oh my God, 100%. I mean, we are always playing on set. We're always throwing. I love first of all, I love being on set. It is my favorite thing. The first part of your question, it is very infectious. I would compare the vibe on set to summer camp, where everyone is like hanging out, we're throwing jokes, we're throwing ideas. For me as a writer, and as the showrunner, head writer, I'm very much like, if a line isn't working, I'll go up to the actors and be like, "Hey, this line isn't working. Let's workshop it. This is what the idea of the line is supposed to be. Let's find the right place." And the actors are always game. And the actors come up to me as well and say, "Hey, this line isn't working." Like there's a line in season two where Anthony Mackie was like, "Hey, the line I'm saying." Mayhem just said the exact same line. So we rewrote the line on the day, and that's where we came up with one of the lines that I love, where Anthony Mackie says a line backwards. So it's great. So we're always playing, we're always coming up with new stuff, and it's really fun to just come up with riffs, coming up with alts. And because we have so many amazing comedians or comedic actors, they're always pushing each other and wanting to make each other laugh.
And I just interviewed Anthony just now, and I
Amazing.
mean, you mentioned about that kind of being able to kind of riff and just sort of view. I mean, lean as well on his kind of experience as an actor. I mean, how is it working with him on this? I mean, he's so committed to everything he does, but more importantly, he just seems to love this show. How much does that mean to production when the leading star kind of has that enthusiasm for the project?
It's amazing. I mean, Anthony's the best. He's so great to work with. His enthusiasm for the show is I mean, it's infectious. It really is. I mean, he comes on set with a great attitude. He's great with the crew. He's great with the other actors. I mean, when we first started talking about this, he was like, "I see my character as this 15-year-old," and that really did like inspire a lot in terms of this greater metaphor about the show being about high school and how everyone is like trying to find their community and their place in high school. You know what I mean? And I think when you have someone like that kind of leading the charge, it always trickles down from the top. And I think you just want that kind of energy in your show. And I think having that sort of ability to inspire others is just so important.
Also, just on a side note, it must be pretty cool to think we've got Captain America in this.
Oh, for sure. Especially when
Yeah.
you're doing stunts. When you have someone that's experienced with stunt work, it's amazing to be able to constantly push each other and to get incredible work.
I mean, obviously, these characters weren't kind of embellished in the games, which gives you guys this kind of great creative blank canvas to work off. They always talk about the pressure of a video game adaptation, which is because video games come with such impassioned, kind of loyal fans behind them. Do you think that pressure in this instance is kind of alleviated a little bit due to the inability due to the ability to be so original with this story, original with the characters? Do you feel that by having that blank canvas, it just takes away the pressure to be a video game adaptation? In so to speak.
I mean, I think yes and no. Like, I think you always feel a little bit of pressure because, look, I want to make our fans excited. I think, especially coming off of season one, the fans being so pumped about the possibility of a tournament, I want them to be pumped to see it and to be happy with how we deliver the tournament, and especially with characters like Axel, especially after we delivered Sweet Tooth, I want them to be like, "Oh, they crushed Axel, they delivered on Axel." So there's always going to be a little bit of pressure, but I think that what's great about the way that Twisted Metal works, we are lucky in that, unlike some other video game IP, there's going to be an expectation of how that IP works. With Twisted Metal, every game was a little bit different. So there's actually an expectation for our game, our IP, for our show to be like, well, we can be a little bit different because each one was already like established differently. So I think we're given a little bit of credence to be like, look, we're going to reference a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? And because Twisted Metal was so much about your experience playing the game, I think that we can bring a little bit of that energy. And that's what I try to adapt. I want to adapt not the story necessarily or the characters strictly. I want to adapt how you felt playing the game. I want to adapt that feeling of dodging a missile, that feeling of blowing up your best friend. I want to adapt that goofy smile you had when you played the game.
And I'm interested to know because obviously when you make a kind of second series, you've got a kind of first season behind you where the characters have become more full-bodied. You've started to understand the world that you're kind of inhabiting. So does it at any point stop in your mind, almost stop being based on a video game and become its own thing completely, or do you still always have that kind of game there for reference?
Oh yeah, I mean I think we're always referencing the game. I mean this season especially we printed out we our assistants and writers assistants made this giant like docket of all the levels, characters, weapons. Like it's basically just our Bible from the games that we can always refer to, that inspires us, that that we can always reference to just whenever we need some inspiration. So we're always looking to the games for ideas as we continue to build off of season one. And I think it's important to never ignore the games while we continue to build these characters and build this show. And this season, especially with the tournament, we actually treated the season as if we were making our own Twisted Metal video game. Like, this is the lost Twisted Metal game. What would the roster be? What would the levels be like? And we really wanted to make sure that this felt true to the game while still being, like you said, the second season of our show.
Yeah, I feel like now we've done an adaptation of the video game. I feel like the video game could now do an adaptation of the show, which would be quite good.
I would love that. I mean, that'd be the dream.
Yeah. But I mean, lots of shows and films kind of want to say something quite kind of important and sort of like power to them. The arts could be such a great vehicle for kind of important messages and statements and ideas. This show, Twisted Metal, feels like its main priority and prerogative is just to be good fun. And I'm just wondering how important you think it is also to also have shows that are not necessarily bothered about what they have to say, just more about how they say it and just putting something entertaining into the world. Do you think there's still a very important place for shows of that nature?
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, that is what the goal of this show is, to have fun. And I think that I think there is room for everything. There's room for shows to have something important to say. I love those kinds of shows, like Adolescence. And I think that there's also a room for shows like ours where you just want to escape, where you just want to have a smile. And I think that's why we make this show, is to have fun, to escape, to just, enjoy the story of these characters and to fall in love with new ones.
Talking of characters, there are some great characters in this, some returning into season two, some new. Were there any in particular you're most kind of excited about sharing with audiences in this second season?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, Axel's going to be a big one. We really are excited to bring that character from the video game, bring him to life. And I think fans are going to be so pumped to see how we did him and, excuse me, and learn more about his backstory. I think that's going to be a good one. I'm really excited about Mayhem. Mayhem is a new character played by Sailor Cada. She's incredible, and her entire character is sort of this. We really came from a place of what would a character who kind of grew up in the apocalypse be like, and I really love that she's this like con artist liar who always is lying. Nothing that comes out of her mouth is true, and Quiet becomes a role model to her, and really love this idea of like what would that be like for Quiet? How can she be a role model, this person who's just not equipped for that? And I really love how she kind of slots into this team and kind of becomes an adversary to them or an ally. And I really love how that kind of fits into them. And we really, like you said, have a whole bevy of new characters, some surprises for people, which I'm really excited about. I think it's really going to be fun for everyone to meet these people.
And just very finally, before I go, is there kind of more to come, do you think, when you write a second season, or any season really? Do you kind of have to write with future seasons in mind, or do you just take it one season at a time?
Oh, absolutely. I always like to think of what's next because I always like to write to something. And actually, one of my very early ideas was the end of the season. So when you watch the season and you see where it ends and kind of what the throw forward is, that was one of my very early ideas. And I think I like writing to where we're going. So I definitely have an idea for season 3, lots of ideas. And I actually have an idea for season 4 that I'm very excited about. So my thing I've been saying is, listen, if you guys keep watching it, I'll keep making it. So, check it out, and I hope you all enjoy.
Brilliant. Well, nice note to end on. Thank you so much for your time today, Michael. And
Thank
hopefully we'll
you.
catch up again for season 3, 4, 5, and 6. Who knows?
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank you. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys!